Introducing the brand new 2021 R9T. Now, considering this is the 2021 model, they've made a lot of changes. So let's talk a little bit about those changes. The one you're looking at right now is the Black Storm version. I think this one is overall the classic R9T model. Other colors this motorcycle comes in is the option 719 and 719 aluminum and the option 719 mineral white, metallic with sunset yellow. Just like all the other BMW R9Ts, this motorcycle is powered by an 1170cc air-cooled engine. That's why you have the engine protruding out from the right side as well as the left side over here. And when you're going down the street and people see you coming, this thing looks absolutely menacing. It's probably one of my favorite qualities about the R9T line. And I've also reviewed the R18, which is a honking big gigantic engine that is twice as large as this. I believe it's somewhere north of 1800cc. So if you haven't watched that video yet, make sure to click on that one as well after you finish watching this one. The engine doesn't disappoint at all because it has an adequate amount of power, producing 109 horsepower, with the peak power coming at 500 RPMs lower than the previous generation before it. Now, speaking of the previous generation had 110 horsepower. Meanwhile, this one has 109. And between you and I don't think we'll be able to tell much of the difference, considering that more of the horsepower kicks in 500 RPM lower than previously. Otherwise, the engine has 85 foot-pounds of torque with a top speed of 124 miles an hour. Other features on this motorcycle is that it has a 31.7-inch seat by default. And for the first time, BMW R9Ts get 3 riding modes, just like all the other BMWs. As you remember, I used to have the BMW F900R, and that had several modes. So it has rain mode, it's got road mode, and dynamic, which is pretty cool on a BMW R9T. Other than that, it has 3 levels of heated grips, which makes it absolutely necessary when you're riding in colder temperatures. Here in San Diego, it doesn't get really too cold, but 40 degrees, 45 degrees, anything below 50, it's pretty frigid, especially if you're riding in the highway. So that's absolutely appreciated. The other cool thing about this motorcycle is that it comes with a USB socket. So while you're on the move, you can plug in your phone to get it charged. How cool is that? All these little conveniences, I like it on the BMW R9T. Brand new for 2021, you get circular headlamps. Those are really slick looking and beautiful. Love it. If you're an OG of the channel, you probably remember that I reviewed another one of these in the past. And one of my complaints was that it only had a speedometer, and I don't think it had a tachometer, or vice versa. I don't know what it was, but I like the fact that this has both. Makes life and living with this motorcycle just a little bit easier. Alright, enough talking, guys. I think now it's time for us to take this baby on the road and see what it's like. Let's go. So depending on where you're watching from, you may not have the ability to walk into your dealership today or in the near future because of the lockdowns and experience one of these for yourself. So I'm going to try to tell you exactly how I feel about this motorcycle every step of the way, beginning with how she starts. Here we go. You start up the motorcycle and it reminds you that you are riding a BMW R9T. It's a torque monster of an engine, because as soon as you fire her up, you get a little bit of the engine pulling you towards the side because of its torque curve. You also feel the vibration coming from the seat because of the massive torquey engine. So we're going to put this motorcycle to the full test today. Riding around in regular B roads like we are right now, taking her up on the highway, and then finishing off on some nice twisty roads. But regardless, I'm going to give you guys my full opinion on what I think of this bike. But so far so good, because these motorcycles, they're kind of sort of like a muscle bike. Well, I shouldn't say kind of sort of, they are a muscle bike. And depending on what kind of R9T you choose, because these motorcycles are kind of like a blank canvas. You can buy one, any BMW R9T for that matter, and then turn it into anything you'd like, because there are millions of different ways that you can customize these motorcycles. Different components. You can even make it into a race bike. As an example, the owner of BMW Motorcycles of San Diego my good buddy Gary, he completely customized his BMW R9T into a race bike, and he uses that to race. I'm not sure exactly which category he races in, but he's a frequent racer, and once in a while we track together. So you can pretty much do anything you want with these motorcycles, and that's one thing that I love, because they're just like a blank canvas. It's kind of like my Yamaha R6. You can buy that motorcycle and there's a plethora of different options or modifications that you can put on the bike and pretty much make it your own. Yep, she gets up to speed really quickly. One of the defining characteristics of the BMW R9T is its potent engine. Really torquey, does not disappoint at all. And it's probably one of the reasons why Gary decided to choose it as his race bike. So, doesn't come as a huge surprise to me. But other than that, for 2021, the big changes that I mentioned that it comes with are pretty much qualities that make riding a BMW R9T a lot easier. Things such as the heated grip on my right hand side and the different riding modes. And then you also have something which I didn't mention yet, but I was waiting until we got on the highway, and that is the cruise control. Yes indeed. Let's turn this baby on. There we go. So at the flick of a switch, you can have cruise control on, and I'll just demonstrate really quickly. Hands-free riding, which I don't suggest, but you can do it. Very stable steering, and if you're going to be doing long commutes on this motorcycle, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. On a BMW R9T, creature comforts such as cruise control and heated grips. No longer should you be jealous of your BMW GS friends. But we're here to ride the motorcycle, so I'm going to turn off the cruise control now and get back to talking about the motorcycle. So we're riding along right now in 6th gear. Let's try out the passing power. Wide open throttle here. Bye-bye Volkswagen. Yes, passing power for days. Bye-bye BMW. And bye-bye Lexus. So, there goes the demonstration of the passing power on the highway in 6th gear. Passing power, 6th gear, highway pulls, check. Alright, let's see if we can get up this highway and talk about its road mannerisms. So before we actually get to the roads, at 80 miles an hour you feel a lot of the wind buffering on your helmet. So if you don't mind that, this motorcycle is perfect for you. But if you're not a big fan of that, you better stay below 70 miles per hour, because under 70 miles per hour is the happy spot for this bike. Anything above 80 miles per hour and you're going to feel it on your helmet and on your body. So if you live in places like Texas where the average speed is 85 miles an hour and you're going to get blown away by cars, this may be a problem for you. So that's one thing to take note. Me personally, I don't mind it so much. I'm pretty much used to naked motorcycles. My Shui Triple RS is a naked bike, so to me it doesn't really matter. Rev matching on this motorcycle feels so bizarre, because every single time you do it, you feel the torque steer pushing you towards the right. If you do it from a high RPM, you don't feel it as much. But if you're down low in the RPMs, you feel a lot of torque steer. Now, as I mentioned, I've ridden the BMW R18 on that. It's like, it's way worse. But it's kind of like one of those badass motorcycles. Anything with an engine like this is pretty badass in my book. I like the fact that the seat is not too high. 31.7 is perfect for a person like me. I'm 5'6" and my inseam is about 30 inches. So for me, this is absolutely perfect. The exhaust, it's a little bit on the quiet side, but whenever you're not going that fast, you can hear it. But on the highway, it's pretty much quiet. You hear most of the wind. It is fitted with an Acra pipe, but I wonder if you can take out the baffle, if there is a baffle, or some way, somehow you can remove that, and then it'll definitely wake it up without you having to spend a couple $1,000s on an aftermarket exhaust if you wanted something louder. I think I've seen people do that on the internet. Maybe it's something that you can Google. Oh yeah, when you wring its neck out, you definitely hear it. So, maybe it does have a loud exhaust, they just haven't wringed its neck out. Haven't given her, quote unquote, the full beans effect. The petrol head full beans effect, baby. Alright. Maybe later on we can put her to the test in the twisties. Let's see how she behaves. I've ridden a couple of these motorcycles in the past, and I have never had an issue with the seat. The seat feels a little bit boxy underneath you because it's kind of angular. But other than that, the seat that I'm sitting on right now, obviously it's a brand new bike, but it might need just a little bit of breaking in. So I think after a couple of 100 miles it should become softer. But as of right now, I've been riding for about 20-30 minutes, and usually you get the thought popping in your head, you know, the thought that oh man, I need to move myself around because my butt's getting a little bit tired. So I haven't had that thought yet. So in case you're wanting to know, yes, it is a very comfortable seat, and I think as you ride the bike more and break in the seat, it's going to get even more comfortable. Alright, so let's turn on the heated grips to see how these things work. I think it's going to take a few minutes for these things to turn on, so we'll give it a while before I let you know how they feel. But in the meantime, while we're stopped at this light, let's flick through the different modes, and I'll let you know what the current mode is, and then we'll go through the different modes and I'll describe to you how they feel. So the current mode is dynamic, but we're going to go on the rain mode first and then cycle through them as we ride. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, on the BMW line of motorcycles, specifically the new ones, you can ride the motorcycle and go through the different modes, and they'll change on the fly as you ride. So let's test it out and see how that works out. Alright, it took about 3 to 4 minutes, but I'm starting to feel the warmth come through the grips. I like it a lot. Why doesn't every single motorcycle manufacturer add heated grips to motorcycles? I don't get it, with the exception of sport bikes. Well, wait, what am I talking about? The BMW S1000RR has it. So yeah, every manufacturer should put heated grips on a motorcycle. As far as cruise control is concerned, that's something I can live without on my R6, but heated grips would be well appreciated. So, heated grips, check. Wonderful, I like them a lot. Now, I've been riding in rain mode, and wow, it's still got a lot of power. I wonder if it even changed. Okay, it's still in rain mode. Let's see if we can put it into road mode now. Alright, so now we're in road mode. Strange, I don't even feel the difference between rain and road mode. I think that's because the engine has so much torque that it makes it almost impossible to tell. Alright, let's put it back to dynamic. You know what, I think where the changes come from, and I could be wrong on this, so if you guys know for sure, comment down below in the description. I think BMW for the 2020 generation has added cornering ABS to this motorcycle. And as a result of that, it also has things such as an inertial measurement unit that are pretty much in every motorcycle nowadays because the technology has become so mainstream and cheap. So I think that in raid mode and road mode, the motorcycle pretty much doubles down on how much ABS the motorcycle has. And I'm not sure if it really changes much of the engine characteristics. So once again, based on my butt dyno, this is all I can come up with. I could be wrong, so if you guys know better than I do, comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are on that subject. I'd rather just be honest and say I don't know than to give you guys the wrong information. Alright, let's see if we can fast forward this video towards the twisty section I've been talking about.
3 hours later.
Through the magic of editing, we are here, ladies and gentlemen. So this is a beautiful part of San Diego, and it's called Elfin Forest. Although I don't really drive crazy and I don't come to this area too often, The places where I really thrash it around, as you already know while watching my videos, if you're an OG subscriber, is the racetrack. And speaking of subscriber, if you're not a subscriber yet, now is the time for you to click on that subscribe button and also give this video a like. And if you've been watching up to this point, pat yourself on the back. Thank you so much, I really appreciate it. Oh, nice. So once again, I'm not a street Rossi. I don't really like to thrash it around on the street, just not my cup of tea. So don't think that I'm going to be going crazy fast. But considering the number of motorcycles that I've ridden on these particular streets and the number of motorcycles that I've ridden in general, I have a pretty good understanding what's good, what's not. The front end feels pretty light, to be honest with you. Oh good, this guy's getting off. Park Ranger. Which gives us lots of room to stretch out our legs. Oh yeah, not bad. Considering a muscle bike handles this well, it almost feels like a naked sport bike. Amazing. And you know, these R9T engines are supposed to be very torquey. They're supposed to have torque steer, but I think most of the torque steer you feel down low. You don't feel a lot of it whenever you're actually riding the motorcycle. And in the beginning of this video I mentioned that whenever you're downshifting and rev matching, you feel a lot of the torque steer, but I just demonstrated that whenever you're high up in the RPMs, torque steer is really not an issue when you're rev matching. Alright, let's do a U-turn here and go back the opposite direction, and I think we won't be able to, we won't have any traffic. Oh yeah, rolling thunder. Man, the thing I like about BMW motorcycles is that it's in their DNA and their genetics just to go fast around turns. My F900R felt this way. The BMW S1000R that I've ridden felt this way. Even the other BMW R9T, I forgot exactly which one I rode, but it had like nubby tires on it. Even that felt very good to turn. So I think the suspension on all these motorcycles pretty much performed the same. Feels very light on the front, very easily maneuverable. Once you pick a direction to turn, you don't have to give it too much counter steer. It kind of like goes into the turn for you, like right now. Very impressive, very impressive. I'm not exactly sure how much the motorcycle weighs. I'll probably find out after making this video, and then I'll probably make a caption out of it. But for the amount this motorcycle weighs, it handles pretty well. It doesn't feel very heavy. This thing has a lot of low end torque, and as a result, the gears are pretty tall, so you can pretty much stay in third gear doing 60 miles an hour, and I think it'll go up to 80 miles an hour in third gear. I haven't really tested it, but that's what I'm going to assume. Alright, so I just hit 80 in third gear, so this thing has got a lot more to go, and I think it'll go way above 90 miles an hour. Very tall gears, and I like that when you're on roads like this, you don't have to constantly shift. But overall, just to give you my final conclusions on the motorcycle, it's got pretty good mannerisms on the road on a day-to-day basis. It's a fairly comfortable motorcycle. On the highway, it does get a little bit windy, and there's a little bit of buffering on your helmet. So do wear some earplugs when you're riding on the highway, but if that's something that you're not bothered with, then not a problem at all. Very comfortable motorcycle. I think this is definitely the modern R9T for anybody who wants to buy one and wants to feel more closer to riding a GS bike, but just doesn't want to hunker down something large. The BMW R9T line of motorcycles are like a blank canvas. You buy one and you can spend as much money as you want making it and customizing it to your very needs. And as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, my good buddy Gary, he turned one of these BMW R9T motorcycles into a full-on race bike. So maybe one of these days, if Gary's interested, we'll go to Gary's shop, have him talk about his customized BMW R9T, and give us a little walk around of what he's done with the bike. If you guys are interested, comment down below and let me know if you want to watch that, and I'll talk to Gary about making the video. Let's pull over here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the full review of the 2021 BMW R9T. It's a fantastic motorcycle, and I think for 2021 they did it right. It's a very comfortable motorcycle, and it performs phenomenal, not only on the street but also on the twisties. So now give this video a massive like, and also subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more. Until the next episode, my friends, ciao for now.